This video is going to walk you through how to create mailing labels. So once we go into OC Map here, I'm going to first zoom into a close-up area. I'm going to pick an area downtown here. And I'm going to turn on my address points. The first thing to know with mailing labels are there's various different kinds that you can generate. And I'm going to walk you through the various types. If you go to the Print and Report tab here, there's a Reports button and a Mailing Labels button. First of all, let's look at the reports. And if I expand this list, you'll see that there are 4 different types of mailing labels listed. There's residents, residents 1 per tax lot, taxpayers, and combined. What residents are, those are the actual address points. Think of them as mailboxes, or for an apartment building there might be 10 apartments that each have their own address. So if I'm going to pick the polygon tool here. If I want to graphically select this area here and generate mailing labels to the residents, you'll see that each one is called current resident, and there are multiple ones. Let's say 704 here. There's 704 Main Street, 305-1, 305-2, 305-3. So that's where you want to go if you need to generate residential labels. There's also this residence 1 per tax lot, and this one isn't nearly as useful. I'm going to pick this tax lot here. And what it will create is just one label for the principal address that we have on file. So that's less useful. Taxpayers, this again is 1 per tax lot. And so if I pick this tax lot here, it will show the principal taxpayer, and that's straight from the assessor's database. And then there is a combined tax lot and residence, which is kind of a cool one. It will, let me just make sure I only get this tax lot and only get these points. It will generate labels that are kind of a combination of the two. If the owner lives at the address, it will create just one address or just one label that's got the owner name. Otherwise, it will list the residences separately as well as separate owner addresses. So it kind of combines the two of them. So if you know the area that you want to generate labels from, this would be the tool to use. Go to Reports, and then you can pick the kind of mailing labels that you want. However, we have a whole new way of creating mailing labels. And this, I'm going to move to a different part of the city, which is a little cleaner. This is a tool that we programmed that gives you a little more flexibility in how you create mailing labels. You can create them by typing in an address and using that as your starting point for creating labels. Or you can pick a tax lot as a starting point. You could select by an attribute query, and this might be something like, give me all labels for a certain neighborhood association. Or you can draw a graphic on the map, which is basically what we just did using the other reporting tool. So I'm going to type in an address. And I am going to do 625 Center Street. And it automatically will buffer this address. Really, you need to buffer it, otherwise there's not really a point of creating the mailing label. And you can buffer, let's do a 100-foot buffer. And here's where you have some options. You can either buffer the underlying tax lot, which in this case for 625 Center Street would be this blue area, the whole tax lot. Or you could just buffer the actual address point. And in many cases it makes more sense to buffer the underlying tax lot. So that's the default. So if I do that, you'll see it creates this amoeba buffer around the tax lot. And you then have the option of mailing to the residents or to the taxpayers or combined. Let's go to the residents. And again, there are a couple of options. You can include all the addresses within the affected tax lots or only the address points within the actual graphic. And if you look over on the main map here, look at this tax lot here. Part of the tax lot is within the buffer, but these address points are outside of the buffer. This option, if you say include all addresses within affected tax lots, this will pick up these three here. Even though they're outside of the buffer, because their tax lot is affected, they will get included. So again, that is the default, but you can change it just to pick labels within the buffer. So this is 603 6th Street, I guess. So it's going out and generating the report. And you'll see there will be a 603, oh, I guess it was High Street actually. And this is just a PDF file that you can download and save. So some of the other options with this mailing labels tool, if you pick a tax lot from a list, let's do 2221C, and let's say I just want everything within 2221C. I'm not going to buffer this, let's say, just to do something different, and I'm not going to specify any of the actual lots within this. Let's just, oh, I take that back. Okay, well, I learn something new every day, huh? So I'm going to choose lot 2500. By the way, that's the kind of thing where, because we have the ability to go in and program this, we can change the tool to better suit your needs. So it might be that you want to buffer, or you want to use just everything within a given tax map. And then this here, you can mail to the residents or mail to taxpayers. I'll do it taxpayers this time. And it created the one label. And then I'll show you one final option with it, and that is by an attribute query. And this is saying, okay, what do you want to query on? And I'm going to say is a historic designated structure. And within that, is it a yes or a no? I'm going to say yes. And I'm not going to buffer the resulting tax lots. I just want those tax lots by themselves. So this is going out and it's now finding all of the historic designated structures. I hear Christina clapping in the background here. And I'm going to mail to residents. And I will... That doesn't really matter, the including all tax lots. It's only going to do the ones for those tax lots. So it's generating the report. And there we go. Those are all of the 20 pages of labels of all the historic designated structures. So that is how you create mailing labels.